My dear fellow travelers, in this life of uncertainty, we live in a time of accelerated certainty, where people chase outcomes as if they were coins in a fountain, tossing hopes upward and expecting divine currency in return. But let us pause. Let us reflect not on what prayer might produce, but on what prayer is meant to do. I once wrote, and still maintain, that the function of prayer is not to influence God, but to change the nature of the one who prays. Let this not be taken as theological provocation, but as existential truth. If we imagine prayer as a tool to sway the eternal, we reduce the infinite to the role of a vending machine. We make of God a negotiator, and of ourselves mere petitioners bargaining for favors. But that is not faith. That is not transformation. That is not what it means to stand before the absolute. Prayer is not magic. Prayer is not manipulation. Prayer is the moment the finite being enters into relation with the infinite, not to command, but to be unmade and remade. In my 19th century Denmark, religion had become cultural performance. Christianity was worn as a badge, not lived as a burden. People went to church to be seen, not to see themselves truly. Prayer became routine, a script rather than a soul's outcry. And so I challenged my countrymen, and now I challenge you. Do not speak to God as if you must inform him of your needs. He knows them. He knew them before you uttered them. Rather, pray to see rightly. Pray that your desires be purified, your motives illuminated, your ego diminished. For what is more radical than a human being who dares to become inward? To examine the self before the throne of the eternal? To speak not to get, but to be. How this applies today. You are told today that your voice should be loud, your affirmations positive, your desires manifest. The world preaches confidence without reflection, outcome without introspection. But this is illusion. Prayer is not affirmation. Prayer is not cosmic ordering, it is surrender. And in your era, when noise drowns contemplation, when digital life exhausts the inner life, you must guard this truth all the more. Do not pray to change your circumstances. Pray to understand them. Do not pray to avoid pain. Pray to be made meaningful by it. Do not pray to be lifted above others. Pray to stand alongside them, in love, in humility, in radical inwardness. Prayer, rightly understood, is not escape. It is descent, into the self, into silence, into surrender. Advice for today. Be still. You cannot hear the eternal whisper if your soul is shouting. Make room for silence. Dwell in it. Be honest. God does not need flattery. Speak your doubts, your fears, your contradictions. That is where transformation begins. Be inward. Do not confuse public religiosity with personal relationship. Prayer is not performance. It is intimacy. Let prayer change you. If your prayer leaves you unchanged, it was not prayer, it was noise. Ask not that your path be smoothed, but that your feet be strengthened. Remember the eternal. In a world that offers temporary fixes, prayer invites you into the eternal dialogue, the long conversation of the soul, with its origin. A final reflection. We do not pray to make God more like us. We pray that we might become more like God, not in power, but in patience, not in sovereignty, but in surrender. Let your prayer be the furnace in which the false self is burned away. Let it be the water that softens pride. Let it be the mirror that shows not what you want, but who you are. Prayer is not the reaching up of hands to demand. It is the bending of the knee to become. And perhaps then we shall rise, not because we are heard, but because we have finally heard ourselves.